Hi there, Lexus owners. Today in your 2018 Lexus RX 350, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install Stealth Hitches rack receiver. And this is what our Stealth Hitch looks like when it's installed. That's right, you can't even tell that it's there. The cross tube is completely hidden up underneath here, underneath the vehicle, and our attachment point for our rack receiver is just underneath. Here's our actual rack receiver that goes into the crossbar. It's removable, so that way when you're not towing, you can have a completely factory look, but when you're ready to tow, you simply take the ends here. We're just going to slide it up into the mechanism here on the bottom. That'll lock into place. Before you put it into service and actually use it, you want to make sure that you take the locking mechanism on the side here over on the driver's side. You just want to push that in, and that'll lock it in place and ensure that the receiver can't come out of there. And we can see here that we've got a nice solid hitch now. Even though we've inserted the piece in here, it really doesn't have any rattles or play. Now, while this is only designed for accessories, there is a conversion kit available here at eTrailer that will allow you to remove the receiver and have a drawbar that clicks right into the rack. And that'll also come with safety chain attachments as well, so that way you'll have everything you need to properly tow your vehicle. The kit does come with a 2-inch ball, but you can swap that out to another size if you wanted to. You do want to keep in mind when using the conversion kit with this hitch, your tongue weight's going to stay the same at 350 pounds. You will be able to tow, so you'll get a gross towing capacity now of 3,500 pounds. If you go with just the rack, you can get that conversion kit, but you can also, if you haven't decided yet on what you want, and maybe you're thinking, hey, I do want that in the future, you can get it all bundled together as a kit with the rack receiver and all of those accessories for your drawbar and your attachments. Also included with the conversion kit or with the full bundle of all the parts, you'll receive lighting wiring for your vehicle as well. So you'll have a 4-pole flat trailer connector here at the back, giving you all the lighting signals you need for your trailer, keeping you DOT compliant in all states. The receiver is a 2-inch by 2-inch receiver, so it's going to be great for all of your accessories, whether you're wanting to use this for bike racks or cargo carriers. This hitch with just the rack receiver option is not rated for towing. It is just designed for accessories only, which means you don't want to hook anything into this that has wheels that touch the ground. We're not pulling anything, it's just for accessories like that. It has a 350-pound tongue weight, which is going to be enough for a 4-bike platform rack, fully loaded up with 4 bikes. It isn't going to be enough for the largest cargo carriers here at eTrailer, but you are going to be able to take some of the gear out of your vehicle and get it onto that at the back here, so you can free up some space for some additional passengers. Your accessories will attach to the hitch using a 5/8 inch hitch pin and clip. Now, one doesn't come included with the hitch, but you can get them here at eTrailer. And I would also recommend getting locking mechanisms as well, so that way you can protect your investments while they're on the back of your vehicle here. Because if you go for a bike ride and you got your bike rack in the back of here, you may be away from your vehicle for a little bit of time while you're out there riding. Since the receiver locks into the hitch, if you get a locking pin here, everything's going to stay safe with your vehicle. This is the dust boot that covers up our lock. So we're going to go ahead and pop that off of there so you can see the lock. There's our lock mechanism right there. You'll receive 2 keys with your kit, so that way you can keep one on your keychain and keep one safe at home for a spare if you need to, or if you've got a couple people that drive this car, you can each have one. When we insert the key in there, we can turn it to unlock the mechanism. And once it's unlocked, we can then twist the knob on the opposite side until it clicks into position, and the rack receiver will just drop right out of there. At that point, we can just put our dust cap back on. And at this point, we're ready to roll around town with a completely factory look. When we're ready to put that back in, it's as simple as pulling that dust cap back off, taking your receiver, sliding it up, making sure that the mechanism does click into place. You can give it a little bit of a jiggle there. And then again, we always want to make sure we push that lock tab back in before we go to use it, to make sure that there's no way that this is going to come out of there. We now have some measurements for you to help you when deciding on your accessories. From the center of our hitch pin hole to the edge of our rear bumper here, we're looking at right at about 2 inches. This is important when determining if your accessories can be placed in the receiver without contacting the bumper, and if they can be put in their upright storage position without contacting the bumper. And now if we look at the clearance from the ground to the top inside edge of our receiver tube, we're right at about 15.5 inches. And that's important when determining if you need to drop a rise or a raise shank on your accessories. We'll begin our installation at the back of our vehicle underneath on the passenger side. Your tow hook is going to be located here on the frame rail, and there'll be 2 bolts that hold it in. We'll use a 17mm socket to remove these 2 bolts. Once we've got those removed, we're gonna set our tow hook aside. We will be reinstalling it, but we will not be reusing the factory hardware. Just forward of where our tow hook was, you'll find a rubber grommet. We're just gonna pop that out with our screwdriver, and then just in front of that, this one's a plastic grommet and these ones thread out of here. So we'll use our flat screwdriver for those as well. And then if we hop over to the other side of the frame rail, we're gonna have very similar plugs in here, so we're just gonna get all of these removed. There's a total of 5 over here on the driver's side. We now want to just make sure that our weld nuts are cleaned out. You're going to have 3 weld nuts on each side. We're going to use a little bit of rust penetrant, spray it up into those holes, and then we'll take a bristled brush to get out any dirt, debris, corrosion, or anything else in there that might hinder getting our hardware into place nice and easily. We'll do this on the other side of the vehicle as well. If you need a small bristled brush like this, we sell them here at eTrailer. Now we've got our weld nuts cleaned out. Before we lift the hitch up, you're also going to have some goo kind of here at the back. That can really make it difficult to get your hitch into position because of all this in the way. So we're just going to take a razor knife and we're just going to trim some of this off of here, right here. And that will allow us to more easily get our hitch into position. Once we get this side all cleaned up, we'll clean up the other side the same way. Because it really does make a big difference in how easy it is to get your hardware installed. We'll now want to prepare our hardware. It'll be easier if you got your hardware prepared when you go to lift your hitch up. There's a total of 6 bolts. We're going to take each of those bolts and place a lock washer on it, followed by a flat washer. So we'll have 3 like this prepared for each side. We can then grab our hitch and we're going to put it into position. Want to make sure you can read the Stealth Hitch sticker. We'll slide it up just like this. You will have to push your heat shield a bit out of the way there in order to get it to go up. And once we get it up in there, we'll line up the holes in our hitch with the weld nuts at the bottom of the frame, and we're going to get those just threaded right in. We'll get one started on each side, and that will allow the hitch to hold itself up, making it easier to install the rest of our hardware. On your passenger side, when installing this one, you want to make sure you take your tow hook. We're going to push that up as well. Can kind of help if you push up on it. And then you can just get one bolt started in there. And we can kind of twist that around and get our other bolt started in there. We can now go back and tighten our hardware with a 19mm socket. And then we can torque our hardware to the specifications outlined in our instructions. Now that we've got all of our hardware torqued down, we can put our center mechanism in place. Now, due to the powder coat and how thick it is on there, it can be difficult to get this into position. You can see how tight it is here. We want to make sure we've got the release mechanism towards the passenger side and the lock towards the driver's side. And we're just going to use a rubber mallet to assist us getting this into position. We'll take the large bolts that come in our kit, and these are going to slide from the passenger side over towards the driver's side. And then we can kind of turn it to get the other one to line up. And then on the other side, we'll just be placing nylon locking nuts. We can then use a 15/16 socket and wrench to get these tightened down. We can then go back and torque our hardware for our mechanism here to the specifications outlined in the instructions. Now that we've got our hardware tightened down, our hitch is installed. The rubber cover here at the bottom is where you'll find the keys that come in your kit for your lock. So we'll just pull this down and we can see there's our keys right there. We can open up the lock cover there. We're going to use the key to unlock the hitch. And it is real tight up in here. There we go, we've got it unlocked. We'll then grab our receiver that comes in your kit. And this will just push up into place. You may need to twist your mechanism here to the unlock position. And then when you push it into place, it'll just lock itself in. Once it's locked in, you just want to make sure that you push the lock back in place. We can re-put on the cover. And at this point, we've now got a usable 2" by 2" receiver here at the back for any of our accessories. And that completes our installation of Stealth Hitches rack receiver on our 2018 Lexus RX 350.